Minecraft has a lot of villages for some of its oldest biomes. However, one biome that has been around since 2011 still has no village, and that is the swamp. Other than the witch hut and large mushrooms on Bedrock Edition, there really isn't too much here. So today, I will be designing a swamp village for Minecraft. And before I got to building, I just did a little bit of terraforming for the surrounding landscape. Okay, so I finished some of the terraforming. I mostly just smoothed out this hill a little bit and cleared some trees, and I also built this small cliff over here. Okay, so first I'm going to build the meeting point here. And my plan was to make a large customized tree here to add a little bit more variation and because I feel like it could look really cool. And of course, I'm going to have the bell, and I just marked a little block here for that. And while I build the tree, I'm also going to go over my plans for the village and overall design. So, I based a lot of the structures in the village off of the witch's hut, using spruce and oak wood and building them on stilts. I also just took a lot of inspiration from swamps in general, trying to incorporate different elements that I would see and going for a sort of droopy vibe, which I think I did decently well with this tree, adding hanging down leaves to make it feel more like a willow or other swamp tree. One last thing, at some point in this video there will be a carved pumpkin in the village. Let me know if you find or have a name for him, and enjoy the build! Okay, so I finished the main meeting point area, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I was initially thinking that the tree would be a little bigger, but I think it's fine, and this is going to look even better with some of the details that I'm going to add later. Alright, so I've now laid out some stilts for where all of the buildings will go. I'll probably add some smaller things later, but this is the rough outline of the village and where each of the structures will go. So now I'm going to work on the functional houses, starting with our blacksmith, which will be right here. Because the blacksmith is set on top of this cliff, I'm assuming the ground would be more stable, and so I do have the option to use a bit more solid materials and build it without the stilts. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get to building the blacksmith here. Alright, so I finished the blacksmith, keeping the 2 furnaces in lava, and bringing the iron bars from the original designs, and building this other little area that I feel like would absolutely be in a blacksmith, with grindstone, anvil, and a little forge. And then here I just built a little covered storage for whatever our blacksmiths may need. Okay, so now I'm going to get on to building the other functional houses, and that is going to be this building here, and this one over here. I was intending for this one to be a cooking area, maybe based off of the butcher's house in a village, or maybe tying in some farming elements. And this was going to be a market/cartography area. And so I think I'm going to start with this one first, and I'm going to get to building the 2 last functional houses. forgot to mention it, but this structure is going to be a small fishing hut. Okay, so I finished the fishing hut, and now that is all of the functional buildings done. The fishing hut, I built this sort of lower level as a dock and tried to make fishing nets out of cobwebs. I don't know how I feel about that, and yeah, just made a little fishing hut. So now I get to start on the houses. I have two main sizes that I'm making for the houses, which are going to serve as my two different models, which I'm going to repeat for the 5 houses I'm going to have. Over here I have the 2 different sizes I'm going to use, so I'm going to design these as my models to then copy over to the rest of the houses that I will be building. Alright, so I finished the 2 different models for the houses, and now I'm going to repeat that for the 3 other houses that I will have for this village. There will be some slight differences, like the entrance to the house, since every house is at a different level. The next part is just going to be repeating these 2 houses. Alright, and with that, the houses are done, and actually all of the main structures are fully completed. So now I'm going to do the farms and then finish up with the rest of the building. So this one I'm going to have extending out into the water, and I wanted to try and make it kind of based on a rice paddy. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I think I'm going to have extend to about here. Alright, and this area here is going to be a pig pen because the village has to have some animals, and if there's going to be animals in a swamp, I feel like pigs fit very well. And then after that, I'm just going to build the last couple of small structures to add a bit more life to the village. Alright, and now with the farms and pig pen done, that is all of these structures for the village done. And so now I just have the final connecting pieces, starting with the paths, which is the last big thing to do. I'm going to start over here because I also have to build a small bridge here to get to this house, because there's always one house in a village that's really hard to get to. So I'm going to build a bridge here and start the paths before continuing that for the rest of the village. Okay, so with the bridge and the base of the first path section done, I can now make the base for the paths that will go throughout the rest of the village. Alright, now to finish up these paths, I just need to add a little bit of detail. And there we go, I've just added some detail to the paths, like these lampposts, that I really think help to tie all of this together. So now, before the village is fully complete, I'm just going to add a few finishing touches. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed getting to see the swamp village be built. Bye!